You don't want to start 2026 like this. I'm starting a new pilot program called 2026 Pre-Season Training. It's for leaders who want to get their team match fit before the whistle blows and the 2026 season kicks off. So if you're running a good company or a team and you want to hit 2026 in a sprint, this is your window right now to set it up. We'll custom build your 12-month plan and drop it into a Trello board so that you actually track it and use it. We'll resource it properly so the work actually gets done and set you up a school community so that you're ready to get rhythm from day one. We'll be setting it all up using Goldratt's project rules of flow to mitigate the 12 causes of project failure, because that's exactly what this is and how you need to treat it as a project. And you'll also be learning to leverage AI where it counts to get the most impact. This isn't some paint by numbers cookie cutter course. It's pre-season training custom built for your business. There's only 10 spots and we'll have it wrapped up so that you're ready to run before we hit Christmas. DM me the words 2026 pre-season training and I'll send you all the details, because you really don't want to start 2026 like this. All right, part 3, mechanical. If you don't want to start 2026 like old mate just there, the time to get in front of the game is right now. Start planning for 2026. We ain't sitting around waiting for some sort of bullshit New Year's resolution or anything like that. We want to get in front of the game and ready to be hit this at 100 miles an hour. So in the first 2 sessions, what we looked at to start with was the civils. We had to lay a decent foundation to build this. Is building a project. Same as we build a project, we need to go through a process to build an environment where we can have a high performing team. If we don't have the environment right, guess what? They ain't going to perform like that high performing team that you want. 98% flawlessly like the RAF do, which a lot of the stuff that we're building on this. So today, the second session was structure. We started giving them some structure to be able to operate in. Today, we want to put the mechanics of it behind it. In particular, we are looking at something called flex planning, which fighter pilots use. There's a 6-step process that will take you from the start of your meeting to the end of your meeting every morning. We'll show you what a full day should look like. And I'm gonna bust a myth, because I saw a post about this on LinkedIn just the other day, and that was, let's just get rid of that to make sure that I'm not going feeding through the wrong audio. In all fairness, this sounds, 98% of people would look at it from this perspective. And that was, if I've got guys out in the paddock and they stand around for 48 minutes in an 8-hour day, then I've lost 10% productivity and I've killed half my profit margin. Maybe all of the profit margin. Maybe. It depends. I'm going to show you why. Because what we're doing there is looking at a single point of data in isolation outside of a whole system. It's not the best way to look at it, and it's not the way that you're going to drive your profits up and get the best results and deliver your projects on time. What I'm going to do now is kick into the Trello board. Everything that I'm building, like it says in the start there, we build this in a Trello board. The reason that we use a Trello board is because it's super fucking simple, easy to use. We could train people to use it 5 minutes flat. They can update a Facebook page, get onto Instagram, or look at a TikTok video, then they can use a Trello board. So what we're going to do is take that addiction that everyone has to their phones and put that to good use, driving our project forward. Part of the way we're going to do that is with the Trello board. So what I'm going to do right now is get rid of these, because you don't really want to look at these. We'll put those down in this corner here. Flick over to our Trello board screen, so you should be able to see that. And might have got rid of that for us anyway. Right. Let's get up our ticket for today. So, as we said, by the way, I've done a lot of this with AI, and in the last session in electrical, we're going to show you how to start using AI as a strategic thought partner. There's good ways to use AI, and there's ways to use it which are just going to be a complete and utter waste of your time and effort and your team's time and effort. So I'm going to show you how to use it. Now, all of these cards that are in here that you can look at and see exactly what I've done, how I've set the sessions up, how I've gone backwards and forwards with the AI to create the information for these sessions are all in here. This is why it says drop this into your Trello as your session script checklist, because he's created this checklist for me. I don't do things like that. It's not a valuable use of my time. If we go back to yesterday's, can we flick back a screen? No, let me go back over here. If we go back to yesterday's video that I did, which is, I shouldn't really do this by myself, I know someone else, right? So we looked at this here yesterday when we started talking about to-do lists, because again, I saw a post that someone put on LinkedIn the other day saying how fantastic to-do lists are. They're not fantastic if you don't use them the right way. What we need to do is make sure that we've got people working on the best value dollar tasks that will drive our profit margins. Don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, I showed you that. All right, so that 48 minutes, that we've already gone through that. Someone stands around for 48 minutes, that's 10% of an 8-hour day gone. Yes, that's what you call thinking in terms of cost accounting versus throughput. This will all become crystal clear as we go through the training today. So Challenger, that's not the problem. It's a sentence. So people standing around, and by the way, and I used to be one of the worst ones for this as a superintendent. You get out there and we hate seeing people stand around in groups. We should be embracing it, because what it tells us is there's a problem. We can see where the flow has stopped. Eli Goldratt, who created theory of constraints, tell us that any system where everyone's busy all of the time is an extremely inefficient system, because they're just running around doing busy work. We're creating work for them that doesn't actually need to be done. What we need to do, any system operates at its optimal or its best at 80% of its capacity. So that's a little hint there. That's the metric that we're going to be chasing and we're going to be tracking. So we don't optimize for people, we optimize for the process or the overall system, whichever you want to call it. So the overall goal isn't to keep everyone busy 100% of the time. It's 80% capacity to give us 100% flow. So the civil session, as we spoke to, was changing beliefs around what needs to happen. You can go back and watch that video if you haven't watched it already. So mechanical is emotion. This is where our day gets rhythm. This is where we introduce Takt planning and flex planning. So let's do a flex day right now. Actually, this is what I'm going to do here first before we get into it, is show you this is another template that I've created, what a day should actually look like. This is from start to finish. We tend to think once we've done pre-start or whatever, everyone just gets out and they do what they got to do for the day, and we're going to try and keep them as busy as we can for as long as we can. Not how it works. So 6 a.m. in the morning, we should have, this is what a typical day is on a construction site where I'm from. I know we tend to work 6 till 5, 6 till 6, somewhere around that. Might not work 8-hour days. You'll figure out how you're going to manage this. 6 a.m. till 6:15 is what's known as our daily stand-up. I'm going to show you exactly how that mechanics of that should run with flex planning. Then we put a bit of a buffer in there, but this is what I'm saying about the system should never be 100% full, because then it slows down. It needs to be 80% full so people have got time to actually put plans into place to execute things that need to get done. Supervisors need that bit of a buffer there between once they finish their daily stand-up and getting prepped and ready to go out and speak to their guys. 7 o'clock, they get out there, they do their pre-start with them. 7 till probably 7:15. At 7:30, we do something called 7:15 to 7:30 to 7:45. I think I put half an hour in there for it. Do something called 3S, which is sweep, sort, and standardize. The place should be spotless. On construction, we're bad for it. We tend to wait until things start to get out of hand and they look untidy. Someone goes around, takes some photos, send them out to the whole world. Next minute, superintendent's jumping down. The supervisor's going, get out there, get that shit cleaned up. You've got shit going everywhere at the moment. Someone's going to hurt themselves. 3S, sweep, sort, standardize. That gives us a baseline an awesome baseline to start with, a standard. We've set the standard for the day. This is what the day is going to look like. So we get what we call then a critical focus time. This is when we actually get some work done. This is where we want the overall system to be operating at 80% for this period of time that we've got here, which is from 8 till 9 o'clock. So we've got our critical focus time from 8 till 9 o'clock. I'll call that session 1. I like to split the day up into 3 sessions, the same that you do with test cricket. 9 o'clock till 9:30, we've got smoker. And you say, oh, guys only get 20 minutes, I only get 15 minutes. We've got this, everything that's in orange has got some buffer time built into it. So if they're having smoko from 9 to 9:15 or 9 to 9:20, there's going to be some time that's going to be wasted either side, just purely from context switching, as in the fact that they were doing a job, they've gone away, gone and had their smoko, pardon me, then they come back. So it's like, where were we up to? What were we doing? Need to get reset and back into it. After, this is one of our key areas then, this from 9:30 until 1 o'clock. This is when we get some of our critical work done. That morning's all about setting up, prepping up, and making sure everything's ready to flow and go. We've got to stop thinking about our day linear as a linear thing from we're going to try and make every minute count. No, you get windows of opportunity, and we need to make sure that these windows that we've got set ourselves up best possible that we can, that we keep the whole system, and that's the whole site, running at 80% capacity during this time. So we've got that critical focus time then. Then the guys, people have lunch again. Again, I've got a bit extra blocked in there. You've got half an hour in there. We're giving them 45 minutes for the get to the smoke, go, get back, work out where you were. Again, we've got another critical focus time there in the afternoon from 2 till 5 o'clock. Okay, but mainly they work till 5:30. Instead of, I can walk any job in Australia, anywhere, and I'll go and find people between 5 and 5:30, which is knockoff, hiding behind columns, sitting doing nothing, twiddling their thumbs. We want to make maximum use of that time. The way that we make maximum use of that time is to have them engaged, create autonomy for them, and let them start mastering this process. So at 5 o'clock, we do what's known as a debrief, which is, again, comes from this book. Don't have a copy of this, get it, The Afterburner Advantage. The process is called ORCA. So it's what was the objective today? What were the results? Did we do them? Did we not do them? If we didn't do them, what were the causes? And what are the actions that we're going to pull out of that we're going to put in place tomorrow to correct what went wrong? That's what's known as a continuous improvement loop. If we've still got any time left after we've done the debrief between 5:15, say, and 5:30, then they can start doing their 3Sing again or prepping for the next day. This is actually building in Goldrat's rules of flow into this. What we're doing is limiting the works in progress. We're making sure we've got full kit before we actually start working, instead of just running out into the paddock and then working out what we need on the fly, okay? We're putting all these things in place. We're avoiding rework. If we can avoid rework just in itself, most projects we build, majority of them, 2 to 3 times because of the amount of rework we're doing. That's where, and you saw in the title, it's not that 10 minutes at 10%, the 48 minutes that kills you, it's the 480 minutes of flow. It's very easy to lose 480 minutes of flow. And our constraint at the system, and our constraint in the overall system is our delay to the whole system. So if we've got something happening in this critical focus time that slows the whole project down, keeps it below 80%, that's a delay to the whole project. We've got to get out of this linear thinking and start thinking, where do we get the maximum impact? Once we can get to 80%, it's like, how do we increase that 80%? Like, move quicker, not put more into the system. It's like, that 80% equals that much. How can we make 80% equal that much? Anyway, that's a little bit beyond what I'm going to get time to go into here with you today. But let's, right now, go back to this one here, and let's see how a flex planning meeting, what it looks like and how we do it. Right, so flex, again, if you couldn't see the book before because of the camera, Afterburner Advantage by Christian Burkoses. You need a copy of this book. A daily stand-up is run by Flex Planning. The first thing we look at is what is the mission objective for today. Now, we have a Takt plan that tells us what the mission objective is for. We generally got one running for a week, 3 weeks. We've probably got a 3-day look ahead as well. So in this meeting in particular, we'll be looking at the 3-day look ahead. So what's the mission objective? So session 1, what must happen? What has to happen in session 1? 300-ton cranes, got to get around to area 4. Let's say we're starting on this day just here. So we've got green, which is the structural guys. You guys need to be out of that area tomorrow because the mechanical crew is coming in behind you. Are you going to be ready? Is your area going to be walked down, cleaned, ready for the next crew to move into it? That must happen today. What has to happen in session 1 today for that to happen? What happens to happen in session 2 today for that to be rowdy? What has to happen in session 3 today for that to work? Everyone's got a crystal clear picture of what the mission objective is for the day by the session. Where we want to get to eventually is, and they talk about this, the RAFs got so good at doing this, they execute flawlessly 98% of the time. And they're in a high risk environment doing some pretty outrageous sort of stuff, okay? We can start stacking these sessions up with, look at it, and an old project manager used to say to me years ago, we had a perfect day one day, Beanie, why can't we do it every day? And I just used to say to him back then, well, we can't be perfect all the time. It's unreasonable. It's not unreasonable. We don't want to be perfect. We want to be flawless. Flawless means that we meet the mission objective. We know stuff changes during the day. We're not aiming for perfection. What we're doing is aiming for flawless execution. Once we start, we get session 1 operating flawlessly. We do them. And Tuesdays, we're getting session 1 and 2. Session 3, as we go through our improvement loop, where we're learning from our ORCA feedback loop, we're getting our planning sessions are running better every day. We start operating more and more flawlessly. All right, so that's the first thing. We take that off. What's the mission objectives for today? Second one is, what constraints do we have? What's going to stop us getting to our mission today that we can foresee, or threats? It's raining. Okay, so what's going to happen now? How do we still get the mission? If we lose 3 hours in the shift, how can we still make the mission? Maybe sometimes you can't. As I say, this isn't perfection. But that's just one example. So I always run a constraints board, which will be split up like this. And it'll be, what's the constraint? What date's it flagged? What's the constraint? What area is it in? Who's operating on it? Who's the single point of accountability to remove that constraint? And then I'll mark it green over here when it's actually done. It's up in everyone's face. Everyone can see that what the issue is, and it's not buried in someone's inbox or forgotten about because someone went on R&R and they didn't pass that information on. Taught the constraints. Number 3, resources. What resources do we need today? We're going to get the 300-ton crane around there. Resources should already have been identified when we did our Takt plan. Okay? This is our day-to-day running, this particular session, the daily stand-up with this flex planning. We can use a flex planning to do our Takt plan as well. Resources should have been identified. Are those resources correct? Have we got the right ones? Whatever. Tell us if you've got an issue, tell us now. Lessons learned. This is one we don't do very well in the construction, or not very well at all. We do a terrible job of it. Lessons learned will be flagged up in our debrief. Remember when we spoke to that before? At the end of the day, we're going to run that ORCA debrief, objective, results, causes and actions. What came out of the ORCA yesterday afternoon that we need to make sure that we don't do today? Well, we're using the wrong welding wire. Let's make sure we've got a process or something in place to make sure that the guys have got the right welding wire or the right welding rods. Any lessons learned get flagged up at this point in time. We need a course of action. Again, the course of action should be sequenced and come from our Takt plan. Who, 3 key questions are, who is doing what and when are they doing it? All right. Who has to do what must happen in session 1? What must happen is a 300-ton crane must move in session 1 or we're not going to have it there ready for the mechanical guys tomorrow, because it takes 2 sessions to set it up. Must happen in session 1. That's absolutely critical. Get someone out there, single point of accountability. Jono's my ex-rigging leading hand. If I needed something that must be done, I always went to him. You're the man, Jono. You need to get that fucking crane, that 300 tonner, and get it around there by Smoko. That's your mission for the first session today. Contingency plan is the last one. Our contingency that we used on the last project was always, if we hit a roadblock and we split it by the sessions like that, and there was something critical and it wasn't going to happen during that session, it was starting to come off the rails, we didn't wait till the end of the shift. We didn't wait till the end of the second session. We didn't wait till the next day. We pulled the people in that were relevant to that problem, pull them all in, 5-10 minutes, do an ORCA debrief. What's going on? What was the objective? We need to move the 300 tonne crane. What's going on? Oh, it's broke down. What was the cause? It broke down. We need a mechanic out to fix it. The result is he's not going to be here today, so we've got actions are we need to go and source another 300 tonne crane, and we need to move some of the other cranes around, put the 50 over there. There's a 250 down the back there that can actually do the job. We're going to have to move it around instead. That's what's known as good multitasking versus bad multitasking. Overall mission objective is to operate during those green sessions where I had the critical focus time, is to have the whole site moving at 80% capacity, not worrying about someone working in isolation and whether we've lost 10% of his day or not. All has to move in flow for us to be able to achieve what we want to achieve and deliver our projects on time. So why flex planning works? Number one, we plan small. Ticks that box. Plan often. We do this every morning. Doesn't take forever. It's not war and peace. Just needs to be on a whiteboard. We don't even have to have Excel sheets or anything else like that. All of this information can be up on the whiteboard. In fact, it should be up on the whiteboard so it's up in everyone's face. It's simple. Anyone can follow those 6 steps. In fact, you can draw that up on the board, and I do this with all my meetings when I'm on site. I draw the agenda on the board. I'll have 0 to 2 minutes, which is we need to talk to the objective and the constraints. Then I'll have from 2 to 5 minutes. We need to talk to 3, 4, and 5. 5 to 10, we need to talk to 6. So on and so forth. It's up on the board. No one's standing there trying to remember what does Beanie normally do? What do we speak to when? How does he actually do it? It's on the whiteboard. These highly underutilized tool, which are extremely powerful because of the visibility that they create. All right, let's go back to our Trello board and make sure that I have checked off. By the way, if you want to get access to the Trello board, just message me the words Mox access and I will send you the link so that you can get on there. All right, we're still on that one. Let's go back to our live Trello. Notice how I use checklists for everything as well. A little hint there too. All right, so tick that off. The daily loop, mission objectives, we spoke to that. Constraints and threats, we talked to that. Resources, lessons learned, courses of action, and our contingency plan. The gold rat shift, you don't win by squeezing harder, you win by synchronizing better. Our system should be running at 80% capacity. That's a sweet spot for flow. Okay. Overproduction or local optimization kills throughput. That's what I'm talking about when we spoke about the guy that might have been not being busy for 48 minutes. He might have been off doing something that was either non-value-added activity, well, that's why I went back to that actually before. Went and did something that was a low dollar value task that didn't even really need to be done. So he could have just been keeping himself busy, just so it didn't look like he was standing around. Maybe he needed something else finished first before he even started. Maybe he needed another crew. Maybe he needed another crane. Maybe it wasn't the right time for him to be working on a thing that he'd been given to do. Maybe he should have been moved to another crew. All right, overproduction or local optimization kills your throughput. We need to worry about keeping the whole system running at 80% during these critical focus times. By the way, this gives you a clear visual of when you need to get this done too. When this is up on the wall, it sets a standard. Everyone can see what's going on, what needs to happen when. Should be out in the paddock as well, so the people out there can see it. Everyone's on the same page. Measure your critical focus time sessions and how many times that you're executing them flawlessly. That should be your real, I wish this AI would stop saying KPI, I've asked it to them numerous times. OKR, objective and key results. So the key message, plan small, plan often, keep it simple. 48 minutes lost does not kill your profits, but 480 minutes of bad flow does. In closing, all of this should be tying back to our, let's bring you back to, so you can see the board again. Everything that we do should tie back into our Takt plan, because our Takt plan is how we create flow. Mechanical, I like that quote that I always come up there. Mechanical is where chaos gets changed to cadence, providing that we've done our work first, we've got the right foundation in place, we put good structure up, and the mechanical starts to transform that chaos into cadence. If you haven't watched those first two videos, one on civils and one on structural, there'll probably be a box that'll come up here at the end and it'll say, actually, what you'll need to do is message me and ask me for the playlist, the YouTube playlist, so you can go back and watch the other videos, because the box that'll come up, the end screen that'll come up, will take you to the next video, which will be number 4, where we will be speaking to piping. How do we pipe this all up? Get the information flowing the right way. We're going to look at a little platform called School, and I'll show you how that works to create what's known as Yoga 10 and how it improves our continuous improvement loops as well. How we track, measure, keep it all in one place so that we are creating that one word, the most important word of all, flow. Right, take it, use it, make it a great week. As I said, I've made all of this available. Like, if you want to work with me, there's 2 reasons why you'd work with me. Number one is because, the number one reason is because you want speed. You want to get through this quicker. The way that I do that is I act as your wingman. So I've got your back, help you create alignments, and I'll show you how to avoid the traps that are going to get you as you go through this process. The other thing is I am the catalyst, so I remove roadblocks for people to get this done and mitigate the resistance to change. Because when you try and tell people that they, or particularly supervisors, I used to be a supervisor, so I know what I'd think if someone come and told me that I need to do a planning session in the morning and then a debrief in the afternoon as well, and then I threw that plan up in front of them going, this is the times when you need to get work done, and just go, just get them out there and get them busy. That's not the way that you're going to build your projects faster. Flow. It all comes back to flow. Anyway, all these tools, you can do this yourself if you want to move quicker, reach out, and we'll see if we might be a good fit to work together or not. Take it, use it, make it a great week, and we'll speak soon. You don't want to start 2026 like this. I'm starting a new pilot program called 2026 Pre-Season Training. It's for leaders who want to get their team match fit before the whistle blows and the 2026 season kicks off. So if you're running a good company or a team and you want to hit 2026 in a sprint, this is your window right now to set it up. We'll custom build your 12-month plan and drop it into a Trello board so that you actually track it and use it. We'll resource it properly so the work actually gets done, and set you up a school community so that you're ready to get rhythm from day one. We'll be setting it all up using Goldrat's project rules of flow to mitigate the 12 causes of project failure, because that's exactly what this is and how you need to treat it. as a project. And you'll also be learning to leverage AI where it counts to get the most impact. This isn't some paint by numbers cookie cutter course. It's pre-season training, custom built for your business. There's only 10 spots and we'll have it wrapped up so that you're ready to run before we hit Christmas. DM me the words 2026 pre-season training and I'll send you all the details, because you really don't want to start 2026 like this.